but she was willing to risk it. That period in time had always fascinated her. While she'd never admit it to her colleagues, her secret hobby was watching old movies and TV programs from the pre-Cataclysm days. Certainly, she'd never reveal that she had a particular fondness for romance. They would probably see that as a sign of impending insanity, and likely she'd never get sent on a mission again. Somewhere in the last 2,000 years, love had become extinct. These days, compatibility, emotional and genetic, was what mattered in a relationship. Of course, she didn't believe in love either. That didn't stop her wanting to go and see what the Earth was like before the cataclysm. Now all she could do was wait. Chapter 1. "Nobody gets hurt," Quinn said as he climbed out of the back of the black van and stepped onto the tarmac at the rear of the Massachusetts Correctional Institution. Rose jumped down beside him. "I'll do my best, boss, honest." Did he detect a hint of sarcasm? Probably. "And absolutely nobody dies." "Geez, you're fussy. I've been practicing, all right. Hopefully the worst anyone will get is a bad headache." He supposed that would have to do. "Just remember, we're supposed to be the good guys here." She snorted. He was quite aware Rose considered him naive. He wasn't. That didn't mean he was ready to sign up to join the dark side just yet. "Have you ever considered," she said, pulling on a leather jacket over her black t-shirt, "that good and bad, right and wrong are just a matter of where and when you're born?" No. He believed some people were inherently good, and he'd always strived to be one of them. But he'd done some terrible things in his time working for the government. Things he'd justified by telling himself that there was a plan, a greater good behind them. Well, that had turned out to be a load of fucking bollocks. They'd had the greater good lie thrust in their faces for too long. So a year ago, the tribe had parted company with their government controllers. But Quinn had always believed it was temporary, that they'd find a way to protect themselves and a way back in. Rose rested a hand on his arm. "Hey, we're doing the right thing. We have to get Martin out." "I know." Martin was a good man, and the closest thing Quinn had had to a father figure growing up. He'd disappeared 4 years ago, and had presumably been held without trial all that time. That wasn't right. "Calm down." Rose squeezed his arm. "Things will work out." He hoped so. Quinn had spent more than a year searching for Martin. Now that he'd found him, he was getting him out. Failure was not an option. He'd just prefer it to happen without any collateral damage. The plan was simple. Well, actually, there wasn't one. They were going to play it by ear. He would have preferred something a little more structured, but Rose had turned up last night with her arms dealer boyfriend, Dave Madsen, in tow, and the bad news that the tribe wasn't the only group after Martin. So they'd had to move fast. They'd parked as far away from the entrance to the prison as they could get to avoid the surveillance cameras. According to their tech expert, Stefan, who had accessed the systems remotely from London, there were none in this area. It was early summer, but the sun was warm, and sweat trickled down his spine. He rolled his shoulders and tried to get comfortable in the unaccustomed formal clothes. He was wearing a dark gray suit and white shirt, as befitted the lawyer he was pretending to be. He tightened the tie, then smoothed down the jacket. "You should have let me give you a haircut," Rose said, studying him. "I had one 6 months ago." It reached almost his shoulders again, but he'd pulled it back into a neat ponytail. "Okay, let's do this." He moved around to the side of the vehicle as the window at the driver's side slid open, and Dave poked his head out. "You two ready to go?" "Yeah," he said. "We'll give you a call when we're 5 minutes out. Once you get the okay, bring the van to the front." "No problem." "And if we're not there in 30 minutes, get the hell out of here. Contact Jake and—" Actually, he didn't know what Jake would do. Jake was their leader in command of the tribe. He was also Martin's foster.